No one has more state pride than New Mexicans. The vibrant culture, bold flavors, unique history, and dramatic landscapes under our Zia sun are like no other. And the people of New Mexico are a rare breed. As diverse as we are, together we breathe life and soul into this high desert land. A land that promises adventure. I'm Michael Newman, and as your host, I'll be taking you with me as I seek out the best the land of enchantment has to offer.
New Mexico, it feels like home to me. It feels so true. It's time well spent when I spend it.
Thanks for watching another episode of New Mexico True Television. I'm your host, Michael Newman. In this episode, we're touring our state's capital. From the magnificent food to the lively arts and culture scene and into the serene outdoors, we explore the many facets of Santa Fe. In the heart of the Baca Street Art District of Santa Fe is Elodie Holmes' Studio and Gallery. Elodie is a renowned glass artist, and she opens her studio to give a range of classes in the fascinating medium of glassblowing. And if you ask me, in this art mecca of a town, what better way to get an interactive introduction to a local's talents and craft? I couldn't resist. I've signed up for Elodie's Glass Art Experience class, where I will have the opportunity to make a few different glass objects under her tutelage. After showing me a few samples of what we'll be making in the gallery, Elodie leads me back to her studio. Oh, wow. So this is the workspace.
This is the workspace. These are some of the colors you'll be able to choose from. And today, for the classes, we stick to the frit. This crushed up colored glass here is called frit. And it's just sort of a granular, crushed up glass.
After showing me the raw materials I'll be working with, Elodie preps the pipe and molten glass for me to get started.
All right, step forward.
All right.
The pipe.
Okay.
Keep it turning and hold it straight up and down into the violet.
Okay.
Just go straight up and down right now. It'll straighten out as soon as you hold it up.
All right. Going down?
Uh-huh.
And down.
And down and go forward.
Flatten.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
And now ready to go?
We'll give it a few seconds.
Okay.
All right, now just lift and go horizontal.
Okay.
Okay, flip your hands around.
Keep it flowing.
Keep the pipe level to the floor.
Okay.
Keep it turning and we'll go over to the reheat.
I'm doing it.
There you go.
All right.
Now rest the pipe on the yoke first.
There we go.
And keeping it turning, go just inside the door. Okay. There you go.
And I'm waiting for the shadows to kind of all blend together, correct?
Right. So you see all around the edge, you can see the frit on the edge. It's starting to round out. As it gets hot, it rounds out. All right, keep it turning, but pull out. Here, I'll move this out of your way. And now slide this hand forward to the middle. Keep it turning.
Right there?
Yep, and lift and come on over and get your other blue.
Okay.
And slide this hand closer to your other hand. Keep it turning and come into the blue. Straight up and down.
Straight up and down?
Yep.
All right. All right, pressing.
Yep, and just give it a few seconds. Okay, now lift and go horizontal. We'll bring it back to the heat. Perfect.
All right.
There you go.
All right.
So I'll take this. You come over here and get the blue handled pliers.
Okay.
Right here. You're going to be right here. All right, start pinching.
Okay.
Pinch. Okay, go fairly quickly. Keep going. Right in between there, in between again, in between. Now pinch and pull towards you a little bit. Good. A little bit more. Pull. Good.
Okay.
And pull. Good. Now in between, right there. Pull more. Yeah. Good. Now this one. Pinch it. Pull hard. Okay, stop. Now I want you to grab it. Go, go, go. And start going this way.
Okay.
Okay, let go. Grab again. Hold. And grab right there. Yeah. Let's pull that out. Okay.
Okay.
There you go. Your
It's a little lopsided, but it has character.
Hey,
you know?
it's cool. It's cool. All right, now before it gets too cold, I have to keep moving here.
Ooh, that's a nice color. I like the color scheme we picked.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Now some colors, the purples and blues you can see as it's cooling down. Some colors, like green and the red, orange, and yellow, they all look orange when they're hot. But your colors will reappear when it cools down. There you go.
All right. I'm officially a glass artist, right?
That's right. It's official now.
That is a flower, I swear.
I didn't see the dice.
That deserves a high five.
That definitely deserves a high five.
After completing my first work of art, I get started on a second, a paperweight.
Lift and into the teal.
The opportunities for color combinations are endless. I'm glad I had the chance to create a few different pieces to take advantage of the spectrum of frit she has here.
Excellent.
In making the paperweight, we employ different tools and techniques. And I have to say, I'm a bit baffled on how Elodie is able to do all of this herself. It doesn't seem possible to pull all of this off with one set of hands. It's totally zen.
Yeah.
Rolling back and forth.
Yeah, the speed that I'm turning has everything to do with what kind of pressure I put on this side. And that's one of the hardest things to get used to when you're learning how to blow glass.
Though I am still awestruck by Elodie's talents, I do feel like I picked up quite a few skills in just one class. I have to give myself some credit. Elodie has been doing this for more than 3 decades after all. And what a teacher. Classes do get booked, but they have partnered with Prairie Dog Glass behind Jackalope in instances of overflow. After class, grab a bite at Counterculture next door. Just make sure to have cash in hand as it is cash only. If you don't have time for a class, but still want to get your art fix, explore the rest of Baca Street or head to the neighboring rail yard district. Stay tuned for a hidden gem in the foothills of Santa Fe. We have a new way for you to watch true television with bonus mobile content, so grab your smartphone or tablet and we'll fill you in shortly. Do you have your smartphone ready? To get the bonus content for today's show, text NMTrueTV to 505-393-2060 and we'll text you back this episode's companion Mixonium dashboard. It's got great stuff like an interactive map, restaurant and lodging information, show segments, and more. Text NMTrueTV to 505-393-2060 for a brand new and exciting Mix dashboard. No app necessary, text now. On the edge of Santa Fe on Upper Canyon Road sits the Randall Davey Audubon Center. Bordered by Santa Fe National Forest and watershed land, this pristine and peaceful sanctuary of 135 acres was previously the home of renowned Santa Fe artist Randall Davey. And now, as an Audubon Center, helps conserve and restore the natural ecosystems of birds and other wildlife of the area. A visit to this beautiful and serene destination is twofold. You may take in the wildlife and landscape of the property, and by having the opportunity to walk through the home and studio of Randall Davey, become better acquainted with the man and his art. Upon entry to the center, you will be drawn into the wildlife garden, where if you sit still and keep your eyes open, the birds and other critters of this habitat will find their way into your view. You feel when you come on the premises the kind of serenity and you're immersed in nature, but it's still within the city limits, but you feel so removed being in these, the foothills here.
So there's several heartstrings that get plucked just by being here, for me.
For sure.
The nature that's here and the ability to get out into it, hiking, walking the rivers, Bear Canyon, the serenity. Come here when there aren't very many people, and it's a very comforting place to be. We invest a lot in teaching young people about conservation and about nature.
Even talking and walking amongst the fields and seeing all the different species that are in just this one area, the endless amounts of knowledge that can come out of and the learning of different species and what role different species play in a larger ecosystem, The gardens and my conversation with Steve have served as an enchanting introduction to the sanctuary, but I'm ready to check out Davey's home and studio. Davey moved to this property in 1920 and lived and worked here until his death in 1964. The stately, though charmingly rustic residence still houses the objects and furnishings of the Davey family, not to mention many of the modern artist's paintings and works of art. Unlike his contemporaries in the Santa Fe art colony, Davey did not always choose the native culture and landscapes of northern New Mexico as his subjects, but found inspiration in the pastimes of his era, days at the races, music, and other elements of life in this chapter of American history. Docent Kim Strauss is on hand to give me a more in-depth look at the life and times of Randall Davey.
The stories that I've heard from people who knew Davey say that he was incredibly generous with not only other artists, but with friends and other people around. He was willing to help them out. He threw great parties here. He was known as a real bon vivant. And I think he was very popular with women, a dashing guy and charming. But he really was supportive of this young art colony.
And so what role did this house play? Were there parties like in these areas around the house?
Oh yeah. I've heard stories how all the family would be pressed into service to clean up the house for these parties. And that sometimes people would have such a good time that they needed to stay over because they couldn't negotiate the road back into town after they had been here.
That makes sense. That bar in there now kind of makes a little bit more sense in context.
I think when you see that, you get a sense of that these people knew how to have a good time.
Look into the Audubon Center's Nature Day Camp for the kiddos in the summertime. Kids get to discover, investigate, and play games encouraging a love and appreciation of nature. Before bird watching at the sanctuary, make sure to print up their bird sighting and checklist off their website. You'll be amazed at the many species of birds in this habitat. Take a docent-led tour of the home and studio, and be sure to ask your guide about the backstory to Davey's wedding photo in relation to the Audubon Center's mission. Here's a clue. Note the feathers in their hats. Don't go away. Tapas, chocolates, and other culinary delights await. Do you take a lot of pictures on your New Mexico travels? Well, if you do, show us by hashtagging New Mexico True on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Santa Fe has long been known as a mecca for arts and culture, but it's also our state's culinary epicenter with award-winning chefs garnering national attention year after year. I'm headed to the plaza for a food tour led by Santa Fe native Nick Pena.
So, welcome to Food Tour New Mexico. We got the Taste of Santa Fe tour for y'all today.
Featuring some of the city's finest restaurants, this tour gives foodies a great introduction to the flavors of Santa Fe.
You all ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All of the places we'll be visiting are within walking distance of the plaza, so your feet don't have to go too far before your mouth gets to sample the goods. And here we are at our first stop, La Boca.
Hey there, welcome. Welcome, have a seat. We got you all set up right here. Thanks for coming in.
This place draws a nice crowd, already a good sign.
But welcome to La Boca. We do Spanish-style tapas, kind of with a little modern twist. We have a jamon and manchego cheese croquette with the manchego cream that we'll be serving you guys with some caper berries. So thanks for coming in, guys.
Salud, cheers.
Salud, salud.
We're doing tapas, right?
Yep.
Oh, it smells great.
Thank
The
you.
croqueta is a quintessential Spanish tapa that's been invigorated with a unique spin by Chef James Campbell Caruso.
It's decadent. You know, I don't even want to eat it. Caper berry.
The briny flavor of the caper berries complements the sweet caramelized onions and saltiness of the jamon and manchego cheese. In other words, it hits all the notes in a most scrumptious fashion. Ultimately, tapas make for perfect tasting tour dishes. These small plates pack quite a punch when it comes to flavor, but still leave you craving for more. And lucky for us, there is more. Time to make our way to the next stop. Onward! We're moving at a pretty good pace when Nick decides to drop a hint at what awaits.
All right, so we're gonna be heading to Luminaria, folks. Chef Mark Quinones is gonna have something going on for us. You do the chef surprise every day there, so we're not sure. We're also gonna probably be doing a margarita pairing. So anybody like margaritas?
Yeah!
Really? I can't believe that.
Did this man just say margarita plus chef surprise? Way to inspire folks, Nick. Luminaria, here we come.
All right, guys, heading into Luminaria. Got everybody? Yep.
Luminaria clearly has an ambiance that stands up to its cuisine. And while the interior is stunning, on a perfect day like today, we're not the only ones opting for the patio.
Speaking of which, the man of the hour. Good to see you. We're good. Good to see you. This beautiful presentation you got here, Chef.
So folks, really quickly, we got Executive Chef Mark Quinones here at Luminaria. I just want to introduce him.
Well, welcome to Luminaria here at the Inn of Spa Loretto. What we have today is a nice grilled shrimp on a sauteed orange with a vegetable-wrapped cucumber with the sriracha beurre blanc.
So what kind of elements do you try to bring to your cuisine here at Luminaria?
I try to bring, really just exotic flavors, a lot of citrus, garlic, spice rubs. Being Puerto Rican, that's kind of like my base, it's cooking with a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
So enjoy that, and any questions you have, I'll walk around and answer any questions.
Out of control. I can't even see, I haven't even started trying to talk to you yet, because I'm still taking this in. Down it with a little margarita.
little organic marg. You like it, George?
Yes, very good.
Good. How do you like that margarita?
So cooked, so perfect.
Oh, yeah.
The vote's unanimous. Luminaria was a hit. Now, I think I've been a bit preoccupied with the food and forgot to mention that Nick's tour also includes a good dose of historical pit stops along the way.
So welcome to the San Miguel Mission. It is the oldest church structure in the United States. It is built on top of a kiva.
As it turns out, peppering the tour with historical trivia and site visits turns out to be good for our digestive process. And now, we're ready for dessert. On to our final stop, Cacao Chocolate House. These chocolatiers draw on everything from pre-Columbian, Mayan, and Mesoamerican traditions to recipes of 1600s Europe to create some of the best chocolates you will feast your eyes on.
Come on in.
Smells like chocolate.
With combinations like raspberry and mint to locally inspired green chili and caramel, these concoctions run the gamut.
Welcome everybody. What you're trying right now, you're tasting our American elixir. It's the first one down on the European side. All the European flavors are made with 72% dark chocolate, so they're a little sweeter.
One of my favorites is the Zool. It's up there, it's T-Z-U-L.
I got it coming.
Oh, we have it coming out.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I got a Zool sample here.
Beautiful, thank you.
Yeah. And of course, it wouldn't be New Mexico without a little red chili. So a little more historical, 100% dark chocolate with a 3 red chili blend from Chimayo.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Of course.
And after your walk this morning, the theobromine in the chocolate will perk you up a little bit and get you all set for the afternoon.
See, falling asleep. This is what you need. Pick her up,
Absolutely.
That's what we like to do. We like to get you all amped up and then just send you out into the world.
After sampling our fair share of these heavenly elixirs, it was time to start placing our orders. It was the hardest decision I had been faced with all day. Seriously, I couldn't make up my mind until they hooked me up with a sample of the horchata elixir, and that was it. My mind was made up.
Oh, that's the jam. That's so good. Yes, please.
No doubt about it, Nick knows how to create a satisfying lineup, and nothing makes for the perfect dreamy ending like chocolate. Besides his Taste of Santa Fe, Nick also does a margarita tour as well as a Nibble Knob Hill tour in Albuquerque. All are recommended. To reserve a spot on any of his tours, visit his website, foodtournewmexico.com. Up next, we visit our state's only living history museum.
Do you need a reason to hit the road? Find out about upcoming events around the state at newmexico.org.
And now from the pages of New Mexico Magazine. On the southern outskirts of Santa Fe off I-25 at exit 276 is the historic property El Rancho de las Golondrinas. El Rancho de las Golondrinas, or Rancho de Swallows, is our state's only living history museum. With a collection of buildings dating back as early as the 1700s, this 200-acre property allows you to step back in time, enveloping you under its cottonwood trees and inviting you into its adobe structures, attentively furnished with items and artifacts of the era. In its early days, this historic ranch served as the last encampment along El Camino Real, serving as a respite for weary travelers making the long journey along the Royal Road from Mexico City to Santa Fe and San Juan Pueblo. Today, with regularly scheduled festivals and events, the rancho gives visitors a chance to experience the many historic chapters of this site in the fertile valley of La Cienega. In a very hands-on fashion, you're able to become acquainted with nearly 200 years of history, from Spanish, colonial, and Mexican to life in territorial New Mexico. Each era is encapsulated in this one unique place. Among the spots I had the chance to check out was the Manuel Apodaca blacksmith shop where tools, household utensils, and items for the ranch were crafted.
Degrees. So that's about a bright lemon right there, so it's about 2,300 degrees.
Meanwhile, other visitors headed for the classroom of the old Raton Schoolhouse, all of us getting an authentic first-hand experience of day-to-day life in these times. This weekend they are holding a fiber arts fair, complete with sheep shearing and demonstrations of traditional spinning and weaving. One thing I can say for sure, I don't know if I could have been the one to shear the sheep back in the day. Seems a bit precarious, especially with a mama sheep, to navigate the udder through that thick wool with those heavy-duty shears. It's incredible there are so many people at the ranch who have carried on the traditions of these age-old crafts. With today's generations yearning to get back to their roots and reconnect with the land, grow their own food, and learn the skills of their forefathers, myself being one of them, this type of experience becomes all the more relevant.
Oh, okay.
Couching stitch, we call it.
Right.
Ultimately, it is not just an interactive history lesson, but an eye-opening experience to the feasibility and excitement of learning these crafts oneself.
I see you're working on the red chilies over there.
Yeah,
Oh,
I took out the seeds because it adds more flavor to the chili if you roast
Right.
it. Yeah.
So this is how they did it in the old days.
Yeah, and then I would grind it, so and make my red chili. Would you like a
Okay.
bizcochito?
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
Okay.
Homemade?
Homemade. I have this kind and I have this kind. You see how it's made like a star? Well, it's called estrellita. And then this one, bizcochitos, has little deditos on it. And they're made in thick. They're made thick because it's like a biscuit. And I learned this from my great-grandmother and my mother. You get it's different from a regular sugar cookie. You get the flour, you put all the lard in it, then the sugar, and then fresh ground cinnamon. And then you mix it together. Then you add your water, so because it gives it a different biscuit kind of.
Right, it's delicious and it's thicker than I'm used to.
And the baking powder,
That's great.
And
it actually feels like a biscuit.
And the those are the little toes right here. So these were made special like for a baptism or for a wedding.
Oh, okay. So traditional, like biscochitos had a traditional use as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And then this would be just plain baked cakes for the cookies for the kids. Yeah. So did you like some homemade bread?
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh my goodness. You're treating me so good.
See the eggs that we got?
Farm fresh eggs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so simple. Like, it seems like it would be hard to do long term, but people did it, and this is like nothing.
Well, I like this because it's more natural and it's not work.
Right.
To me, it's not work.
You're living.
Yeah, you're living. It's survival, and I like that. I like that a lot too. So.
With the expansive property and the number of buildings to visit, you'll want to devote a good chunk of time for your visit to the rancho. Make a day of it. Be sure and come with room in your stomach for the food. There are many stations set up where you can sample some of the rustic breads and preserves and even take a stab at making your own. And if you want a more instructive lesson on baking bread, they offer special Orno bread baking classes twice a week. For more great stories like this from New Mexico Magazine, visit newmexico.org. Thanks for coming along with us on our tour of the capital. Hopefully we've shown you a side of Santa Fe you've never seen before. And with that being said, what are you doing next weekend?